Okay, so we got to talk about Solana because, oh, don't worry about that. There's a little illustration that I did for Twitter. We got to talk about Solana, okay? Because in my opinion, what's going to happen this week is solely contingent on Solana. Before we talk about Solana, of course, we need to talk about Bitcoin and what's going on because obviously Bitcoin runs the show here, okay? First things first, in regards to Bitcoin, we have been up only now for 3 days, okay? Literally up only. Nice V-shaped recovery. A lot of people are very, very bullish. The context with this V-shaped recovery, in my opinion, is not as bullish as most people think. Right now, for a very long time, since August 7th, Bitcoin's been parabolic, okay? It's been up only. And that being said, everybody right now is in like, okay, we're missing out, that kind of mindset. Right now, I imagine, how many times can I say right now in one video? Right now, I imagine that the same people that, you know, were on the sidelines and whatever during all this are on the sidelines now, and they're like, okay, I'm not missing it again. I'm going to long the top, basically. I think people are going to look to long the top. And for me, I actually have short positions here ready to go. And by that, I mean, I've actually already shorted. So I am expecting a pullback here on Bitcoin. I am expecting a little bit of blood this week. I'm hoping we get that. Now, if you decide to copy me, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm 5'2" 3/4. I'm a wannabe singing non-financial advisor. So don't copy me, okay? Do your own research. But, and things can change all the time, okay? Just because by the time I post this video, I'm sitting short right now, doesn't mean that I'll be short by the time the video is actually uploaded, okay? So just understand that things always change, but I'm just giving you my perspective, okay? Ultimately, what's your structure? When in doubt, structure out. Shouts out to the Nexus. I'm not going to show them this video. Frankly, I'm too lazy. They can chill it for me. Shouts out to the Nexus. Okay, what's your structure? You have high, you have low, you have lower high, you have lower low, and then now you have potentially lower high, lower low, okay? This short trade that I just took is absolutely an aggressive entry. In my opinion, to confirm that that's going to be the high, you need to start closing candles below $105,000, which is only $600, $700 away now at the time of recording this video, okay? Why am I going on about Bitcoin if the title of this video is literally Solana is the tell? Because Bitcoin runs the show and Bitcoin is in a short zone. But not only is Bitcoin in a short zone, Ethereum is also in a short zone, okay? We actually had a perfect Model 1 distribution. I'm looking for re-entry. I'm also short on Ethereum. And of course, I'm short on Solana, which is what we're going to talk about in just a moment. But what did we talk about in the last video? When every coin is at a key level, that's when you're going to really get usually the big move. That's how we caught the longs from the exact low, which by the way, I am out of my longs right now. I took half profit on my 0.1 Bitcoin long, and I have 0.05 still open. But, you know, I am looking for a pullback here, okay? I am looking for a pullback, and I think that a lot of people are not expecting it. They're going to get caught offside with this pullback if we get it. So I'm looking for the pullback. Now, why is Solana the tell? Solana also, by the way, is in a short zone. It came perfectly to my box. Of course, I shorted Solana, and I want to talk about why, in my opinion, this week, the number one ticker that you need to watch is Solana, okay? So we came up perfectly to my box. The Nexus knew. We shorted it. We're good. We're chilling. So far, so good. We'll see how it goes. I don't know why this is so dark, but so far, so good. All is well, okay? Now, when I do my high time frame analysis, mid time frame analysis, I draw out usually the path, the expectational order flow, and what I want to see and how I want to see it, okay? Why is this week specifically Solana the tell, and why should you focus, in my opinion, primarily on Solana? The whole market right now, like I said, since the last 3 days, has been up only, okay? Really no retracements, right? Bitcoin, very big V-shaped recovery, blah, 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 right? So what can we expect now? We can expect one, if we're going to get a pullback from here, okay? If we get a pullback, we can expect one of two things. Number one is we bounce off of, you know, somewhere, make like an internal higher low and then higher high and continue on our merry way. But number two is we don't do that. We make a lower low, okay? Now, that being said, depending on what happens with Bitcoin dominance will depend on how hard your altcoins will bleed. Why do I think that Solana is the tell? Because in my opinion, whether or not, let's just say Bitcoin makes a higher low or a lower low, I ultimately believe that Solana is going to make a lower low. Why do I think Solana is going to make a lower low? Well, what did I say? When I do my high time frame, mid time frame analysis, I always draw out the path that I think price is going to go. But Solana is the tell because Sol has now 3 equal lows, all that liquidity that hasn't been run. Okay, so what are the odds that Sol does make a higher low, higher high? Is it possible? Yeah, of course. Anything is possible, and things change on the daily, right? So you're going to be monitoring it. Like I said at the beginning, I'm not a financial advisor. Don't copy me. Don't, nothing about what I'm saying right now is set in stone. Okay. But to me, it makes way more sense for them to come and run these 3 equal lows now, especially because we have an inducement block right under those lows. So look at how I drew my path, right? Let's just say the market is destined to continue higher. For Solana, at least, it makes sense to me that this happens, right? Depending on what Bitcoin dominance does will determine how hard the altcoins will bleed. But to me, if we're going to get this pullback, right? If I'm correct with my analysis, it's a big if, right? Sometimes I'm wrong. If I'm correct with my analysis and we do get somewhat of a pullback this week, then to me, it makes way more sense that Solana is going to take that low. And whether or not Bitcoin has made a higher low or a lower low at that point will be TBD, okay, will be determined. But for me, my eyes on Solana, my eyes on these 3 equal lows, and I will use Solana as confluence as per my last video where I explained how you could use the entire market as confluence. I will use Solana as confluence to gauge whether or not I think, for example, Bitcoin might put in a higher low or a lower low or, lower potentially, right? If Solana comes down, loses this block, well, then guess where it's going? It's going lower than this block, obviously, probably coming to run some of the lower liquidity. Again, what happens, depending on what happens with Bitcoin dominance, will determine how hard the alts will bleed if this whole idea plays out. So in my opinion, you really, really, really got to pay attention to Solana this week, okay? Last thing I'm going to leave you with is USDT dominance. USDT dominance right now hit a very important key level, which is why we've been up only since the last 3 days. However, we never got really any confirmation. We still have a higher level above that. And right now we're bouncing perfectly off of this 1 hour breaker block that I actually just noticed recently. I let the Nexus know as we hit it. Okay. So like I said, the Nexus is short. I'm sitting short right now. Things can change. Don't copy me. But we hit this 1 hour breaker block right on the POC of this break, of this range. And again, USDT dominance is either going to put in the lower high, lower low, potentially at the golden pocket, or the higher high. And it's inversely correlated. So if this happens, then you better believe Solana is going to be at those lows, and Bitcoin will probably be back at its 100K zone. Guys, that's all I have for you in today's video. If you like the content, hit like, hit subscribe. If you're interested in joining the Nexus, which is my premium network, which they get all my updates, my live streams, all my trades, everything I'm doing every day, all the time, 24/7, and you get access to the course, and you get to learn exactly how I trade, why I trade this way, what I'm looking for, and not the signals, but the call outs, we'll call it, when what I teach you is happening in real time, so you can actually apply what you learned. All that is in the description and in the pinned comment down below. Enter the Nexus.com. Nexus, I love you. Peace out, YouTube. I'll see you soon.